She thought one slap would silence her, but that single moment in front of 200 gasping students awakened a force she never expected. What happened next flipped the entire school hierarchy upside down. If you love powerful comebacks, jaw-dropping twists, and revenge served ice cold, hit subscribe so you never miss stories like this. The slap cracked through the auditorium like lightning, sharp, humiliating, unforgettable, and for a heartbeat the entire world froze as Maya staggered sideways, her cheek burning under the sting of Jamie's palm while 200 students stared, some gasping, some laughing, some pulling out their phones to record what everyone already sensed would explode into something no one could predict, because Maya, the quiet girl everyone dismissed as soft, shy, and harmless, simply straightened her spine, blinked once, and slowly turned her head back toward Jamie with a calmness so chilling it made even the teachers uneasy, a calmness that didn't match the situation at all, a calmness that made Jamie's triumphant smirk falter as Maya whispered, "Are you done?" And the auditorium erupted in whispers because this wasn't the reaction anyone expected from the girl who'd spent 3 years being shoved, mocked, framed, and cornered by the school's reigning queen bee and her entourage, who'd chosen that morning assembly to shove Maya on stage and accuse her, falsely, of cheating on the national exam just to destroy her chances at the scholarship she'd worked towards since freshman year. But what Jamie didn't know, what no one in that room knew, was that Maya hadn't come to school that day empty-handed or unprepared. She had spent months gathering proof of Jamie's bullying, collecting screenshots from anonymous victims, voice recordings slipped to her in hallways, and even a confession from one of Jamie's former friends who finally cracked under guilt, all of which she had compiled into a single file labeled, "Release if necessary," and as Jamie's posse giggled nervously, expecting Maya to cry or flee or break, Maya instead stepped toward the microphone still dangling from the podium, took it in her hand with surprising steadiness, and said, "If you really want the truth, let's give everyone the whole story," which caused a visible ripple of panic through Jamie's group, especially because Maya reached into her bag and pulled out a small USB drive tied to a red ribbon, as if she'd been waiting for this exact moment, then plugged it into the auditorium computer while Jamie sputtered, "You can't, don't you dare." But the tech teacher, confused and frazzled, didn't stop Maya in time, and the projector flickered alive with a folder titled, "Bullying Evidence, Jamie Carter and Associates," instantly plunging the room into stunned silence as videos, audio clips, threats, group chat screenshots, and even Jamie's own voice loudly bragging about framing Maya played on the giant screen. Gasps swelled into murmurs, murmurs into outrage, teachers yelling for order, students whispering, "No way," and, "Oh my god that's her voice," and one guy even blurting, "Bro she's done," while Jamie's face drained of color to a sickly gray as she screamed, "Turn it off. Turn it off." But no one did, not until the entire truth unraveled. Every lie, every sabotage, every victim who whispered in hallways afraid to speak up until Maya gathered enough to protect them all. And when the final recording finished, Jamie mocking a disabled student, there was nothing but horrified silence as everyone absorbed the reality that the school's beloved golden girl had been a monster behind the scenes. And then, in a twist that surprised even Maya, another girl stood up from the third row, Kayla, the former friend who had given Maya the most damning evidence, and said, loudly, "I'm done being scared." She heard all of us, and suddenly one voice became 2, then 5, then 20, students standing to share how Jamie tormented them, and the school counselor rushed to the stage while the principal stormed in demanding an explanation. Jamie tried to run but campus security blocked her, and for the first time in her life she couldn't talk her way out, couldn't charm, couldn't threaten, couldn't twist anything because the whole school had seen everything, and while chaos exploded around them, Maya simply walked off stage with quiet dignity, her cheeks still red but her expression serene, because she had planned not just revenge, but justice, and as students followed her out like she was some kind of unexpected hero, she whispered to Kayla, "Thank you for trusting me," and Kayla, trembling, said, "I didn't do it for me. I did it for everyone she hurt," and the moment felt bigger than both of them, bigger than anything Maya anticipated when she decided she couldn't stay silent anymore. Meanwhile Jamie was suspended pending a full board hearing, her parents arriving in hysterics, and a school-wide anti-bullying investigation began that very afternoon. But the story didn't end there, because a week later, after news spread across town, after parents demanded accountability, after alumni emailed the school board, Jamie tried to retaliate again by spreading a rumor that Maya had faked the evidence, not realizing Maya had already given backups to the principal, the district office, and even the police due to the severity of the threats, and this time the lie backfired instantly, cementing the board's decision to expel Jamie permanently and require mandatory restitution for students she targeted. Yet the most shocking twist came when a major university reached out to Maya, not to question her scholarship application, but to offer her a full ride, citing her leadership, courage, and integrity, stating in their letter that, standing up to wrongdoing, even when you stand alone, demonstrates the kind of character we value. And when Maya read the words, she cried, not because of the slap, not because of the hurt, but because she finally realized she wasn't alone anymore. By the time graduation arrived, she walked across the stage to a standing ovation while Jamie, barred from attending, watched the ceremony from afar in bitter disgrace, realizing too late that she had built her throne on cruelty. And Maya, once invisible, once underestimated, left high school not as a victim, but as a symbol, a quiet storm who turned humiliation into strength, fear into power, and a single slap into the moment that changed everything, not only for her but for every student who learned that silence protects bullies, but truth destroys them.